Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population and with little or no meaningful engagement leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.
2 days ago, the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, revealed that over 13.5 million accounts were closed or deactivated across platforms like Google, Microsoft, X, and TikTok. You know, this followed more than 58 million pieces of content takedown and nearly 755,000 user complaints, in line with Nigeria's newly enforced code of practice for online platforms. On one side, tech giants said it's a bold step towards safer digital spaces. On the other hand, critics warn of government's overreach and censorship of dissenting voices. And so tonight, we're asking a question at the heart of every digital debate. Where exactly lies the thin line between free speech and harmful content? It's another episode on your favorite show, Ways. My name is Chioma Kalu, and tonight's conversation centers on drawing the line online. How do we separate, expression online from harm, in Nigeria's digital space? Remember, Ways is all about you, as you are the why in Ways. So be a part of our conversation every single day and add your voice to the discussions. Head on to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. Hit that subscribe button, like, share, and invite your friends to come on the show right now. When I open the phone lines, I would really want to hear your say on this topic. And as always, we always have a quote that we ponder on every day. So today's quote says, "Freedom of speech is a right and not a license. It carries responsibility and must be exercised with respect for others." And this is by Kofi Annan. We'll go into this much later, but first I'll go on a break, and when I come back, we'll go through my news interests for the day. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. It's time now to look at my news interests for the day. And the very first one got me really laughing when I saw it earlier today. It says, Tinubu urges Nigerians abroad to return home and support nation's growth. Now, President Tinubu has called on Nigerians living abroad to contribute their skills, their expertise, and resources to Nigeria's development, stressing that national progress requires active participation from citizens both at home and in diaspora. Tinubu said this speaking at TICAD conference in Japan, encouraging the diasporas to return home and invest in the country's economic transformation. He said, "I am happy to listen to you. I am happy to report that many of our people are returning home. Yes, for economic reasons. Some people might decide to stay away. It's a fundamental right of the individual. But for the growth, economic growth now, an opportunity available in Nigeria, don't stay away. Your contribution is very much needed. If you stay away, who will build it? Tinubu said. He highlighted the progress his administration has made in key areas, including passport issuance, investment reforms, healthcare infrastructure, and business competitiveness. He also urged the diaspora to act as ambassadors for Nigeria abroad, projecting a positive image of the country. Dear Mr. President, forgive me for laughing, but it's easy to say, oh, come home, come home. What are they coming to? Right? Every year. Have you been to embassies in Nigeria? Try going to the UK embassy on a random day. Try going to the US embassy on a random day. You will see a legion. Like, oh my God, the crowd is usually. I went to the US embassy early this year. I went with a friend, and oh my God, when I saw the crowd, I'm like, what's going on? Where are all these people going to? Who are you leaving the country for? I saw a tweet. Somebody said, even Nigeria has to leave Nigeria. Nigeria has to japa, you know. And it's very funny hearing the presidents calling everybody in diaspora to come home. I mean, I think I might understand you from a particular angle, but there's, these people want you to give them an assurance. What are they coming home to, right? Because I think the whole situation is getting bad by day. The insurgency, right? I mean, the level of insecurity in Nigeria these days is very alarming, right? Is it the inflation, the scarcity of food, the cost of living? I mean, everything is rising except salaries of workers. And so they are still struggling to navigate. And then some people now get the opportunity to move abroad to, cities, countries where they feel like, okay, we're going to be working a lot, but I mean, I'm seeing what I'm working for. I think it's a better deal. So I feel like, Mr. President, before you make that call for people in diaspora to return, there should be a level of fixing that has happened in the country. Because like they say, seeing is believing, right? But anyway, we're moving on to my second news interest of the day. It says over 500,000 Nigerians pre-register as INEC begins voter registration sensitization. That's interesting. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has announced that more than 500,000 Nigerians have completed their online pre-registration for the continuous voter registration exercise within just 5 days of its relaunch. This was revealed on Friday in Abuja during the official flag-off of INEC's nationwide sensitization campaign aimed at boosting public participation in the voter registration process. The chairman of the commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, who was represented by the National Commissioner May Abamuchembo, described the turnout as a strong indication that Nigerians remain eager to participate in democratic process. Well, while I agree with this, right, every Nigerian is interested in the electoral process, in the democratic process. And, you know, I am actually even really impressed that this number of people turned out, right? Because, you know, 2023, a lot of people, prior to the elections, a lot of people came out. Right? It was as though the sensitization at that, I think 2022, when the whole thing started, you saw a good number of people turn out, especially the youth. I personally was very impressed because prior to that time, Nigerians, most of them were not really interested. Right? Everybody believed that, oh, at the end of the day, they will give it to whoever they want to give it to. And that mindset, I saw it change. Just before the 2023 elections. And it was really beautiful to see. And even right now, I can tell you for a fact that more people are now involved in politics. And it's a very good step in the right direction for Nigerians and Nigeria as a nation, right? So seeing in just 5 days of relaunch, 500,000 people turning up, I think we're doing something right. And I must commend INEC for starting this sensitization program. I mean, I think starting it early enough, right? Because I think it's going to run And the timeline it has, it's enough time for more people to get involved. So if you're out there and you already feel like, oh, this election is for the people, they know now, they know who they want in, you're already making a mistake. And you have to live with the consequence of your actions. And like they say, your vote counts. And I know most of us don't believe it here in this nation, but you have to actually make that vote count by stepping out to vote. So tell your friends, tell your family, if you don't have your PVC, start getting it, because you have to exercise your voters' rights, okay? Now, moving on to my last story of interest. I'll never advise my son to play for Nigeria. Taribo West said it. You know, this guy was a former Super Eagles defender. You know, on Friday, he berated the Nigeria Football Federation and the Lagos State government for allegedly abandoning the family of late goalkeeper Peter Rufai. Speaking at Rufai's burial on Friday, the ex-Inter Milan star expressed disappointment over what he described as the neglect of Nigerian football heroes after their death. He said it's disheartening that you have Lagos State, you have the Nigerian Football Association. They dropped the bulk on the family. I felt in my spirit that there is nothing to put your life for. That is why I say I have to shift back so that I will not implode. It's grieving. When Rufai passed on, I had goose pimples on my body. And every individual I'm speaking to, there were tears rolling down my cheeks. What kind of nation is this, he said. Now, the former international stressed that the treatment of ex-players discouraged him from encouraging even his children to serve the country through football. He said, with this kind of example, I would never advise even my son to put his feet for this country. That's really, really sad, I must say. And I've always opened up this debate, the way we treat our sportsmen and women in this country sometimes, most times, right, is very sad. You know, immediately they are done with the football thing, immediately they are done, we forget about them, including the government, right? It's as though we leave them to their fate. Whatever happens, that's okay. You know, I mean, just look at what a veteran, a Nigerian resource is saying, that he can't even vouch for the country, and he will not advise his son. That is so unpatriotic. And we talked about patriotism yesterday. That is so unpatriotic, but you know that this guy is speaking from a deep place of pain, right? Watching his colleagues go one after the other, and it's not like they're dying, you know, very fulfilled. No. According to what he's saying, Nigeria failed these people. How can we make these better? And then the president is calling people in diaspora to come back. How do we marry these two situations now? It doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, we sympathize with the family of Peter Rufai. It's really a great loss, and we're so sorry this is happening. And we really hope that Nigerians, whoever it is in the hem of affair, for these sportsmen and women, would take note, would learn from this, and make sure others don't feel the same way. Treat them better now they are alive. They serve the country, for goodness sake. Anyway, that's all I have for you on my news interest for the day. And I'm going to go on a short break. When I come back, we'll dive right into our topic for tonight. Stay with me.
Life is made up of moments, some that fill us with joy, others that test our strength. Welcome to Heartlines. This is our space to explore the highs and lows of human connection, the love, the heartbreak, and resilience that shapes our life. From relationships to friendships, parenting to partnerships, and so much more. Every week, we share stories and conversations that define us, navigating love, separations, the struggles of parenting, dealing with anxiety and managing the pressures and stress of life. Real conversations that bring us closer, helping us heal, grow, and connect. So join me Mondays through Fridays at 10 p.m. for Heartlines, the show where we'll connect hearts, have real conversations with real people,
one story at a time.
Thank you for staying tuned. If you're just tuned in, tonight's discussion is centered on drawing the line online. How do we separate expression from harm in Nigeria's digital space? Please let's hear from you what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation by sending an SMS or WhatsApp to 0818-038-4663. My phone lines are open now. You can call on 070-2500-7749 or 070-1424-2420. Let's hear what you have to say. Now, we live in a world where our phones, our laptops, our digital platforms have become an extension of ourselves. You see, the internet, it has given us freedom. Freedom to connect, freedom to express, and freedom to build communities without borders. But with this freedom, right, has also come a darker reality. Cyberbullying. Yes. Cyberbullying is not just a playful banter or harmless online teasing. This is targeted harassment, it's threats, it's body shaming, it's fake news, and it's emotional abuse that can destroy lives in the blink of an eye. It is the anonymous troll that, leaves cruel comments and the fake account spreading lies, the viral post that humiliates someone beyond repair. Right? There's no need, there's no excuse, there is no reason for cyberbullying ever. Now, you see, Nigeria's internet population is booming with over 122 million active users, right, last I checked. But behind these hashtags and viral trends, there are really dark stories. Let's take, for instance, this guy, Alex Iwobi, the goals Alex Iwobi, this guy was trolled so viciously after AFCON in 2023. How many of us, I don't know how many of us remember that match. This guy was trolled so much. He deleted all his Instagram posts. He did. Now, just very recently, this TikTok star, Big Butt Fits, her name is Vivian Chinelo. She died, right? And her death, reignited the debate about body shaming and online cruelty. So she had some issues with her body. Right, so she had her stomach protruded. I don't know if we can get a visual of that, but she, regardless, decided to make the most of her life instead of wallowing in self-pity and all that. So she came online, started creating content online. She's such a great dancer, by the way. She was such a great dancer, and you would. With that body size, she's even more flexible. She was more flexible than myself, if I dare say so, right? But, reports had it that people started trolling her about her body, right? And which eventually, some people said that led to her death, that she went for a surgery to, correct whatever deformity or whatever problem that was. Even though the family came out and said that she was battling with hernia. But I think we're not even far from the truth, because that body shaming would have gotten to that woman, right? This other guy, there's this teenager, Olamide Badejo, he was driven to suicide by relentless social media abuse. So you see, these are not just online. They are real life, real life. By digital hits. You don't even know. Oh my goodness. In person, and actions have real life consequences. They do. First of all, the mental health of the victim. Right? You see, these people, they suffer anxiety, they suffer depression, and in suicide. Right? How do we live with ourselves when we know that we contributed to the reason this person is dead? Just because I picked up my phone and I typed, oh, look at the way your body looks. You're not going to concentrate on that one. You're here making content. I mean, it's just really sad. Such a great dancer, such a free-spirited human, right? And then trolls decided for more engagement just because they were looking for content. Decided to troll the lady. And some other people, you see people crying out. I personally, I have seen some people come out. For instance, some people living abusive marriages. And then you see people that will come under their post and make comments like, you know, it's just really sad, right? You see people's reputation, careers, businesses collapse because false rumors were spread. And these rumors, the people that even, somebody something, the other person tells and adds to the story. Nobody's checking it to know if it's true. If it's not true, nobody's checking. Then, I mean, just for the algorithm or just for the numbers, we just keep pushing narratives that don't exist. Effect on this on the economy. You see, online fraud and harassment scare away investors, stifle Nigeria's digital growth. Right? It does. Now, okay. We know how to blow things out of proportion. Yes, we do that. Maybe I'm going to go this way. So maybe a commissioner maybe tells you, oh, I'm fixing this road. And then the person fixes the road. And maybe tomorrow or the next, you might see a little crack on the road. And then we come online, we forget that we are demarketing our country in front of investors, outside investors, right? We come online and we talk down on our country, on our leadership, on ourselves. I saw a post one time and, this drag between Nigeria and Ghana. And someone said, the best to note is that Nigerians, they know how to abuse themselves by themselves. So there's nothing you will say that will get to them. And as funny as that is true. And which is so sad, right? You see, hate speech and fake news, it fuels violence online. So you haven't met this person before, but when these things start building up, you start seeing hate and all of this is, before you know it, you're digging this person's information, you're visiting this person's house to go and cause chaos. It doesn't make any sense. Now, what does the Nigerian say? What does the law say? We have laws, the Cybercrime Act 2015. But you see, enforcing these laws is where we have a problem. Enforcement is not as strong as we need it to be. You see, some victims, for instance, now, some people going on the other end, you make a comment, and because the comments affect a rich person, the rich person locks you up. Locks you up. You feel powerless. In fact, that's why I say, be careful what you post, right? Victims often feel very powerless because the abusers hide behind anonymity. Cases like the TikTokers, jail for defaming celebrities, many suffer in silence without justice. This conversation really gets to me because I have seen these things happen over and over again, and it seems as though we don't have what we can do about it. Now, I'm going to move to the angle of, before I go there, right? Asking the question of how much a threat harmful online posts can be to Nigeria's safety, right? It's a real threat. Any harmful content you put out is a real threat. Threats on somebody's life, somebody's reputation. A lot of... That's why you see these days on Nigerian cyberspace, a lot of defamation lawsuits is flying everywhere, right? And you have to verify these things. I saw this guy, somebody raised a debate about this particular guy who came out one day mentioning the wife of one of the senators, saying she has another man, something like that. And oh, yes, they jailed him till now. Now his family is begging. And then even when he was making that post, he made a video, an actual video. And he said that he has evidence. I think this is 3 months down the line. I'm asking, so you don't have evidence anymore to show? Why are we like this? Just because you want to put out content, you go to the extent of putting your life in jeopardy and putting your family into restlessness. For what? That's violence in communities. Scams have wiped out people's savings. Oh my God. Are we talking about? Oh my goodness. You see there's another rising menace, right, in Nigeria, of people scamming online. I think they call it I don't know, is it love scam, romantic, whatever, right? Just scamming people abroad, promising them love, and then they end up giving you money all the time. Or you scam people telling them, oh, they want so, put this and put that, and you wipe out somebody's entire has even led to depression, especially among the young people. Not just online noise. It's real life consequences, right? Now, moving on to FG, saying over 13 million accounts were deactivated to protect citizens, right? I would say, see, this action, it improves the safety to some degree. I think I really agree, because clearly many harmful contents, scammers, fraudsters, child exploiters, were in this deactivation that was done. But I have a transparency decided which accounts were harmful and which accounts were not harmful, are not harmful enough to be taken down. Do you understand? These things beg answers. Cyberbullying is not a conversation we should be having at this point in our lives as Nigerians. It's not. It's really not. It ruins people's lives, people's actual lives. And then we think, oh, it's just cruise now. Oh, it's just cruise now. It's not just cruise. You're dealing with people. We have a collective responsibility, to think before we actually type. Because your words can either heal or your words can kill. It's not just online drama. It's violence. It's trauma. And it can be fatal. As a society, we have the obligation to rise above trolling, mockery, body shaming. The internet can be used for different other things. It's a marketplace of ideas, not just a battlefield of hate. We can use it to a positive end. And honestly, I think that was the initial idea of the internet. Not to hate ourselves. If we want a digital Nigeria that is safe, a Nigeria that is innovative and globally respected, we must first build the culture of digital responsibility. We have to use our voices, guys, not to wound the next user. Not to show that I'm better than they. And that's how you see pressure. A lot of pressure mounting up. Everybody is pressured to be what they are not. And social media is not real life. I have to say that. For those that want to structure their lives towards social media, you're pressuring your partner, you're pressuring yourself to achieve something that somebody is just flaunting, probably rented. Social media is meant to build us up, right? Anyway, I will go on a short break. Let's all take a breather, and then when we come back, we'll continue more on this topic. Don't go anywhere.
Life is made up of moments, some that fill us with joy, others that test our strength. Welcome to Heartlines. This is our space to explore the highs and lows of human connection, the love, the heartbreak, and resilience that shapes our life. From relationships to friendships, parenting to partnerships, and so much more. Every week, we share stories and conversations that define us, navigating love, separations, the struggles of parenting, dealing with anxiety and managing the pressures and stress of life. Real conversations that bring us closer, helping us heal, grow, and connect. So join me Mondays through Fridays at 10 p.m. for Heartlines, the show where we connect hearts, have real conversations with real people, one story at a time.
All right, welcome back to our conversation tonight. We're talking about how cyberbullying, right, is affecting a lot of lives. So where we draw the line between expressing ourselves and, putting out harmful content to affecting people, making reference to the deactivation of over 30 million accounts by the federal government. Now, moving on, I'd like to talk about how these cyberbullying, right, affect investor confidence in Nigeria's digital economy. See, it's a red flag, a huge one. No investor wants to pour in money into a market that is riddled with fraud, right? And sadly, the Nigerian marketplace is actually riddled with fraud. Now, let's even move away from online. Let's go to our local markets. Like I would always say, go to the grassroots. Let's even start from there. You will see a woman that, that this tomatoes is 15 naira. But because, you have you have looked at the buyer, she looks well-to-do. She looks like she can part away with a few hundreds. And then you inflate the price, right? That is going to deal with investor confidence. And, when it comes to online as well, harmful content, it reduces trust in online platforms, which directly impacts digital trade and innovation. You see, cleaning up the space is very essential. Cleaning up the media space is very essential to boost the investor confidence. We need more investors. We need more investors. Now, to the government, I would want to say we need clear, independent and fair regulation. Yes, laws that punish crime and abuse. The crime and abuse, it has to have, I don't just want you to spell out the law, write it and publish it. The implementation matters, right? Implementation matters. But beyond that, we also need laws that protect creators, journalists and startups, yes. Yes, because this card goes both ways. Regulations should focus on harmful behavior, not silencing decent or healthy criticism, which is another cyberbullying we're seeing. Now, these people are not putting out harmful content. They are putting out the truth. But then you see a hunt down, a manhunt declared on the person that put out the content. Why? Because you seem to be touching a button that you're not supposed to be touching. So I'm guessing we all are supposed to be acting ignorant in this country. Look at the case of Raye. I treated Raye a couple of days ago. Raye, the youth copper that came out to, speak up about the state of the nation and all that and all that. The one whose rants, whether we like to believe it or not, led to the release, to the increase of the allowance paid to core members from 33K to 77K. Yes, I solely believe that it was a rant. That if you say you have a budget for that, that's okay. Right? But look at Raye, right? Raye was supposed to pass out in July. But the report has it that, that she missed her clearance in April, so she has an extension of two more months. How did she miss? Raye said she went for clearance, so she went for clearance. And the officer there delayed her and, made it just very unbearable. At the end of the day, the girl got tired and she left. She went home, right? And then all of a sudden, you're saying you're not going to release her certificate. I feel like that's bullying. I really feel like that's bullying. She came out, she spoke her truth about the state of the nation. Whether you say, the way she said it is not good, or the way she said it is good, that's her truth. And I'm also going to refer to the president's speech on Democracy Day. I like to go back to that. The president said everybody has a right to freedom of speech, even if you are criticizing me. He said, I will fight for your right to speak because it's part of democracy. That's what he said. So why are people suffering from speaking up? Because you know the powers that be, because you have the resources to lock this person behind bars, and this person has, nobody really to speak for him. Some of them are in jail until whenever. They've even forgotten. Some people say, for instance, NSAS protesters, some people say some of them are still in jail, even though they're telling us nobody else is in jail. But these are part of the things we're talking about. right? Because people are calling for what they deserve. They are now being bullied into silence, right? It doesn't make any sense. So while we're talking about people using their words, using the online space to spread lies, and body shame people, this is also an act of cyberbullying. When somebody speaks truth and then you come and you say, how dare you? How dare you say that? And then the person is locked up, right? It doesn't make any sense. It's really sad. It's really sad. Now, another angle I want to take is, yes, we're calling for regulations, right, for whatever happens in the cyberspace. But, we need to talk about politicians, abusing these regulations. Still in the same angle I'm talking about, using it as an excuse to shut down dissenting voices, right? We need to look out for that because, like I said, it's two sides of a coin. When you put in safeguards in place, like, the Independent Digital Rights Commission, strong civil society monitoring, and even publishing regular transparency reports, so we know why exactly some accounts are taken down. I am an advocate of taking down these accounts. I want a sane cyberspace, right? But we need transparency while you're doing it. Don't use it as a tool. Don't see it as an excuse, to get to people that you have been targeting, Don't do that. Don't do that, right? Anyway, moving forward in this conversation, way forward. Like on this show, I've always said, I don't like talking about problems without talking solutions. So way forward, I would advise that we need nationwide campaigns in schools. Yes, universities, communities. We need to teach young people about online safety, fact-checking, and digital responsibility, just like road safety. Digital literacy should be part of our basic education. Yes, I feel like the whole curriculum of learning in schools these days, from the nursery to the university, I feel like it should be reviewed. I feel like there should be an overhaul, an entire clean-out. Right? Because the world is evolving. A lot of things are coming to play. We need people to be in the know, right? You don't just go through the four walls of school and you come out and you're acting illiterate about the things that are going on. So let's go beyond the basic training on computer that we do in schools these days. Let's teach them about these things. Digital literacy should be part of our education. Right? It should be part of our education. Moving on, right? I would also want to suggest that we have an independent digital rights commission to oversee online content regulation. This regulation we're talking about. Because if we leave it solely to the government, we risk political interference. And if we leave it to maybe just the big tech companies, we risk corporate bias. So we need an independent body to regulate this thing because they would ensure, fairness. They would ensure protecting the citizens' rights. Hopefully, they're not tampered with. That's why we say independent of the government, it's independent of the tech, big tech guys. Let's have an independent body. This is your job, right? This is just like the INEC, right? I mean, what is designated for? Something like that. This is your job, okay? That's what I think. Then also, young people, I think we also have a huge role to play. We really do have a huge role to play. Because if we leave these things and just keep condemning it on our own and saying, oh, they are doing this, they are doing that, and then nothing is done, you're doing yourself a great disservice, right? So, but by being actively involved in consultations, policy reviews, awareness campaigns. Now, awareness campaigns is beyond coming on social media to, carrying placard and all of that. No. In your little space, your circle, when you see your friend, when you are just say, look at this one, hey, make I just comment. That's your place to say no. You don't know what this person is going through. You don't know what is going on in this person's life. So what makes you think that comment is going to, build up this person. So that's why I said it starts from you thinking before you post that thing. Think about it. Is this going to build this person's esteem, or is this going to tear this person down? These are things that you put into consideration. It's not cruise, though. These things are not cruise. These are real life situations we're talking about. Young Nigerians we are the biggest users of digital platforms. And we should also be the loudest voices shaping the future. Okay? Anyway, this is me. This is my conversation today, right? Wherever you find yourself, please be a positive voice. Be the reason somebody's life is brightened up. Be the reason why somebody is lightened up. Walk into a room and people are happy that you're there, right? Be that encouraging comment under somebody's post. Because some people are going through a lot of things. Do you understand? And also remember that social media is not a real place. So stop taking things to heart. I'm talking to the victims of these things now. Stop taking things to heart. Social media is not a real place. Okay? Just to wrap up on the show today, see, this is my closing note to you. The internet gives us a voice, but with that voice comes responsibility. Every post, every share can either heal or harm. You see, today's debates, right, it reminds us of the freedom online, and that freedom is not a license to wound others, but an opportunity to build safer spaces for all. So you see, as we log off tonight, let's remember the digital space belongs to us all. Use it wisely and never, ever at the expense of the next user. Thank you for being my audience tonight. And just before I go, please do ensure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. You can interact with us, drop your comments, and most importantly, follow us on all social media engagements. And remember to like, share, comment, and invite your family and friends to watch us and follow us. If you missed our quote for tonight, here it is. The freedom of speech is a right, not a license. It carries responsibility and must be exercised with respect for others. That is by Kofi Annan. I'll see you on Monday at 8 p.m. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.
Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.